Hello, this is Debbie Emerson, and welcome to the healing meditation for January 2025. Wishing you a very happy new year. I decided to pull several cards this month, and I have this it's actually an older tarot deck that I haven't used for a while, but I really love it. I pulled five cards, as you can see. And the first card, or the main energy of the month, of the month of January, is the World card, which is a major arcana card. And then I asked also for what are our challenges and what are the energies helping us. So the challenges are on the left side, and the energies that are supporting us or more supportive and helping us are on the right side. So as you can see to the left, we have the Four of Swords and the Page of Wands, and on the side that's supporting us, the Three of Cups and the Seven of Wands. So I just wanted to put that up there just to kind of give everybody a visual of the energies we're working with this month. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to stop this share here. Okay, let me close that out. And I do a little write-up every month. And so I'm just going to kind of go over that here. So the world is telling us that we have completed a cycle of lessons that leave us free to go in any direction we now choose. So I thought that was really encouraging. I mean, yes, once you finish one lesson, we start another one. But I think it's almost like we graduated in terms of certain things. So the question is, what will we choose as a collective? Because this is a reading for the energy of the collective. And so really that's up to us. And the more of us that choose in a positive direction, the more the energy will go that way. So it's really good to take a deep breath and ground yourself and really contemplate what your next step is and what you would like the collective's next step to be. We might want to consider, supporting, asking for there to be peace and plenty and health and happiness so that all is well, and it will bring our collective consciousness to a higher level. Sorry, I got something tickling my face there. So the Four of Swords, swords represent thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and communication. And this card indicates isolation, a feeling of being cut off and out of touch. And it gives us time to contemplate new plans for the future. So this is on the left side, and this is some of the challenges. So, whatever circumstances we're going to be dealing with, it might just make us feel like we are either physically cut off or emotionally cut off from people. Maybe the people around us see the world a little bit differently than we do. So it's just asking us to be patient and to prepare as best we can because things are changing. So it's good to have a plan. And it's helpful to give yourself time and just be patient because the situation will improve. So just kind of sit back and observe. It'll give you time and space to renew your physical and mental energies. And the card is also telling us that the shadow over our life is slowly moving away. So I say hooray to that. So the Page of Wands. A page represents potential, and the message of the wands has to do with action and moving forward. It's the fire element. So this card indicates news, messages that will bring positive changes. So my sense is that things will be coming to the surface that have been hidden for a long time. Sometimes that's a little bit challenging for people, and I think that's why it's on the left side, the energies that might challenge us. But it's always best to have the truth out in the open because then you know what you're dealing with. So the Three of Cups on the energies that are supporting us, Threes represent consolidated effort, and it's a dynamic combination. And to me, this represents, how people come together and work together when there's challenges in life. And the cups have to do with emotions, the spirit, soul, and intuition, and it's the element of water. It has to do also with relationships. So I really feel like this is indicating a coming together through adversity, maybe, or just commonality. So the card indicates happy conclusions, which is, I see, very positive. Success in the beginning of a new lifestyle, abundance, joy, hopes fulfilled, and anticipation that something good is on the way. And the Seven of Wands. Sevens can represent personal challenges, responsibility, a pivotal moment. And wands are action, that fire element moving forward. And this card indicates being blessed with inner strength and courage and strong character. And oftentimes going through adversity brings out the best in us and demonstrates to us what we're capable of. So in summary, the world in the main position tells us that as a collective, we have come through a time of adversity and learned many lessons. We have taken steps in our awareness and raised our consciousness significantly. And we're at a choice point. The question is, what will we choose as a collective? And of course, that begins with what will you choose? And as each person chooses, those similar choices will come together and create a more powerful flow of energy. The Four of Swords and the Page of Wands and the challenge position tells us that we may be going through a period of time where we might feel isolated and cut off, but to keep the faith because good news is on its way. And the Three of Cups and Seven of Wands and supporting energies position tells us to persevere. We're blessed with courage, strength, and strong character that will carry us through to the happy conclusions that we have desired. And I just want to add here that community, I think, is going to be very important. So on that note, what I do with the healing meditation is I will be walking you through some just simple psychic tools, I call them. And these tools are wonderful tools that were originated at the Berkeley Psychic Institute by a wonderful man, the founder of the Berkeley Psychic Institute, named Louis Bostwick. And he taught when he's no longer in the physical, but he taught many, many teachers, many, many people, and those people have gone on to continue to teach within the Berkeley Psychic Institute and gone off on their own, as I and many other graduates have done. And we've shared these tools with hundreds and thousands of people. And they're simple and powerful. So sometimes we tend to think that if something's simple, then, we kind of say, whatever, that's no big deal. But when you give yourself a chance to use these tools and practice the tools, you will find that they're going to create significant change in your life. I know they have for me, and they have for many, many others who have practiced these tools over the years. So the first step is to find yourself a comfortable space where you won't be disturbed for about 15 or 20 minutes. And I always suggest sitting in a chair where you can have your feet flat on the floor. If you're on a couch or something like that, you might want to sit near the edge. You don't want to slump back in the chair. You don't need to have your back ramrod straight. I suggest just having your back comfortably straight. And this is so the energy can flow, up and down those energy channels that go through the center of our bodies. And then I'll ask you to just keep your feet flat on the floor, your hands maybe just resting in your lap or on the arms of your chair, whatever's comfortable for you. And then gently close your eyes. And I always like to start by just bringing your attention to your body. And the reason for that is because your body is always in present time. As spirit, which we are, we're experiencing life through this physical body, but we are spirit. And in the spiritual realm where we came from and where we still interact and exist, There's no time and space. So as soon as we shift energy in the spiritual realm, it's immediately done. So that $1,000,000 you've you have it on the spiritual realms. You just have to open that flow and align with it to bring that energy into the physical realm. So go ahead and just give yourself a couple of nice deep breaths. And when you breathe in, you might want to just imagine that breath going all the way down to the tips of your toes, expanding your body front, side, and back, feeling that breath moving down your arms into your hands and fingertips, up into your throat. Just feel that breath filling you up. And then exhale. And when you exhale, you might just want to, do a nice big release and just imagine anything that's going on in your life that might be pulling your attention, just dropping away. And another nice deep breath. And as you're doing that, just go ahead and check in with your body and say hello to your body. Send your body some love. And let that breath just release. And one final breath. Nice. Big breath in. And then just go ahead and let that breath release along with any other worries or cares or tasks that you might have going on today. And then just take a moment to check in with your body again and kind of notice if there's any areas of your body that might be wanting your attention. Maybe you have some stiffness or some pain or whatever. Just go ahead and notice that. And you might want to just send some hellos. When I ask you to say hello, hello is kind of the universal recognition that I see you. That, like that movie in Avatar. Hello is I see you, and it's really it's really a hello to you, the spirit. So most of us talk, we communicate to the body. But when you start to realize that you're really communicating, the real communication begins when you say hello to spirit. So I call that a spirit to spirit hello. And of course, the body is important. The body has its own intelligence too. But the eternal, the forever part aspect of this partnership is you, the spirit. So ask your body if there's anything it might like, if there's any complaints it would like to register. And then go ahead and note that. And you might want to, maybe your body just wants to move more. Maybe your body wants a certain food, more water, whatever. Just kind of, let your body know that you're going to do your best to give it that thing that it's asking for. So the more we can get our body in line with us as we evolve spiritually, as we expand our consciousness, the more the easier it'll be because our body is definitely our partner in this endeavor. Okay, so as you're closing your eyes, just notice where most of your attention is drawn in your body. And then just decide you're going to collect up, your attention and bring it right up into the center of your head. And that's right between your eyes is what I always say. You can imagine drawing a line from the third eye here to the back of your head. Just imagine that line going straight through, and then from temple to temple. And where those lines intersect is the center of your head. And in that center of your head space, there's a neutral space. There's actually like a sanctuary space. And this space is neutral. I just said that. And the beauty about neutrality is you can look at all kinds of things that might have an emotional charge on it. And you can look at it from an observational perspective rather than getting caught up in the emotions. So bring yourself up into the center of your head and just give yourself a nice deep breath. Whenever you feel like you need to breathe, that's energy releasing. So just let yourself take a nice deep breath. Otherwise, just breathe normally. And in that space, you might find yourself in a particular space. The first time I did this, I was in a room filled with like one of those libraries from floor to ceiling and had all the dark wood and the dark paneling because I love books. But over time, it has changed. And you'll find that your space in the center of your head will change also. It might change just naturally. You might change it as you change. But this inner space is a reflection of you and how you change and transform. It's similar to what's called the sacred garden in the with shamanic work. So you can purposely change things in this center of your head space, and it will shift things in your world. Or, like I said, you might notice things in the center of your head change as you change. So it's like feng shui. Feng shui is about moving things around in your environment to create change. Anyway, enough of that. This video is going to be too long. So when you're in the center of your head, just notice that space, look around. And if there's not a nice, comfortable chair, go ahead and create one. Just a nice, comfortable chair that you would love to sit in. And you're going to seat yourself on that chair. And doing this really helps to bring you into this space. This is I call it your command central space. This is a great space for you to operate from. And of course, because we're spirit and we move around, oftentimes, we'll move around the body or whatever. But this is when you're sitting down to meditate, this is a great space to be in. Okay, so from that space, just look around and see if there's anything there you don't care for. Maybe there's, I don't know, an ugly picture on the wall or some chipped pottery. And those things could be a representation or symbolic of things that aren't yours or things that you've outgrown. So go ahead and just anything that you don't like, anything that you see that you don't like or are aware of that you don't like, just go ahead and imagine that there's just this big kind of like those bank things where you push the button and it sucks the little tube in so you can do your business from your car. Just go ahead and find a button or create a button and just let that button suck anything that you don't like down that grounding cord. And you might just put that intention out there. Just push the button. When you push that button, anything that's not yours or you're done with or you're outgrown is going to be sucked down into the center of the earth. And just decide you're going to ground that space in the center of your head. And that grounding that space is just a matter of creating a connection to the center of the earth. And we also want to create a connection from our root chakra. So our root chakra is the chakra that connects us to the earth. If we have damage in the root chakra, oftentimes we have difficulty being connected to the earth. And when we're not connected to the earth, it makes it very difficult to stay in the physical body. So we're going to reinforce that connection to the earth. And we're going to use any kind of image you like. But here's a couple suggestions. You can use a tree trunk. I use the General Sherman sequoia tree because I've been there and it's such a big, beautiful tree. You can use a waterfall, you can use a feather boa, you can use a rope, you can use a chain, whatever feels fun for you. And of course, you can change this up each time you do this exercise. So just imagine that image that you've chosen and connect it to that root chakra. And then you're going to just let it extend all the way down into the center of the earth. And you're going to anchor it in there somehow. And you might find yourself following that grounding cord down into the center of the earth, which is fine. Go ahead and check that connection, make sure it's connected there. And you might want to just say hello to Mother Earth while you're there. You might see her as an image, you might feel her, and you might just tell her how much you appreciate this beautiful planet that she has created or is co-creating with us, or we're co-creating with her, however you want to look at it. And you might even notice that she says hello back or sends you some love also. And then go ahead and bring your awareness back up into the center of your headspace and sit down in that chair. And then, you might notice that there's a button that says release, grounding cord release, or release down the grounding cord is a better way to look at it. So just push that button that says release, or just decide to let anything that's not yours go down that grounding cord. And as you sit back in the center of your head, just observe. What are you feeling? What are you noticing? What thoughts are coming to you? Just let them go. Just imagine them in like a big river, and that river is just taking all of this stuff away. You might see funny things floating by. And this is just kind of a representation of those things that are going down your grounding cord. Now, you never have to worry about losing anything that's truly yours. We tend to take on energies from other people. So anything that's truly yours is going to stay in your space. It's your energy, it's your creation, or whatever. So whatever's not you is going to go down that grounding cord. So you might be a little bit surprised at how much is letting go, how much is releasing down that grounding cord. So just observe and notice. That's part of expanding our consciousness, is just being able to observe and notice. And the more we let go of what's not us, the more we have of our own energy, and the more aware and the more conscious we become. A beautiful woman that I follow, Penny Kelly, she expresses it in, she says, you become more real. And a lot of people have heard that term of you become realized. So that's just a way of saying that you become more of who you really are. You become more real. And that's the name of the game here. You are a unique being, and every part of you is a gift to this world. And the more that you can get in touch with that and bring that to the world, the more helpful, the more you're doing your thing that you came here to do. Okay, so I'm sorry, this is probably going to be a long video, but I just felt like being January, it's a good time to really go through all of these tools for anyone who hasn't been working with me in the past. So I'm not going to do everything today. We're just basically going to get this center of the head and grounding set up. Otherwise, it'll be an hour and a half video here. So as that grounding cord is releasing, again, say hello to the center of your head, and that really just brings you back into the center of your head. Now, it's helpful to keep all of your tools in present time. So maybe once a day, just let this grounding cord go and create a brand new one. And each time you do this, because you're more capable, that grounding cord is going to be more capable and stronger, and it's going to work better and better for you each time you recreate it. And again, you can create a button that just says drop grounding cord, disengage grounding cord, however you want to look at it. And when you do that, that grounding cord is going to go into the center of the earth, just like the energy that's releasing down that grounding cord. And the earth is so big and so powerful, she's going to neutralize that energy and free it up to go back to wherever it came from. You don't have to worry about what happens to it. It's not going to hurt the earth. And you don't have to worry about, how it gets back to anybody else. Just like we don't worry about, how the light turns on when we turn on the light switch. We just know that it happens. So just enjoy that releasing and sitting there in the center of your head. You might notice that as you do this for a few minutes, things start to get quieter, because as you're letting go of things down this grounding cord, you're also letting go of things in your head that aren't yours. Sometimes we have all these voices in our head, and we get this whole monkey mind going on. And you might want to practice this if you have trouble sleeping. Practice this at night. Just putting that grounding cord in place and turning it on, letting it release, you might find that all those crazy thoughts that keep you awake will begin to let go, and things will quiet down so you can fall asleep. Okay, so the third piece we're going to do today is replenish your energy. So once you've let go of all this energy that's been taking up space in your space, kind of like having rocks in a jar, if you take those rocks out, you're going to be able to fit more liquid or more water or whatever it is that you want in there. So what you want to do is you want to there's a space above your head, about arm's length above your head, and I call it the gold sun space. And this gold sun is going to magnetize your energy from wherever it is. Well, if we think about the past, part of us goes there. If we think about the future, part of us goes there. If we think about our kids or our friends or our work or whatever, part of us goes there. So, and the astral at night when we dream. So it doesn't matter where you've gone. We go all kinds of places because we're creative beings. But this gold sun's just going to magnetize your energy back into that gold sun space. And just, allow that gold sun to fill up with your own energy, and just let it get really big, like a balloon blowing up. And you might want to let it get at least as big as your body, maybe bigger. It won't pop, I promise. And then you can just imagine it beginning to flow, just pour down into your crown chakra on the top of your head. It's going to flow all the way through the center of your body, through all of your chakras. It's going to continue to flow inwards into those microscopic spaces, into the space of the cells and the tissues and so forth. And it's going to also continue to flow out, filling up your body and that aura around our body. And you might want to just bring your aura, just decide to bring your aura in around arm's length around your body, just so you can kind of pay attention to it and notice what's going on in that aura as that energy is filling you up. And again, I feel like I need to breathe. So if you need to breathe, go ahead and breathe. And that breath will just help things release. If you find yourself holding your breath, oftentimes you're bumping up against some energy that you unconsciously don't want to look at or be aware of. So just remind yourself to breathe. And because we're doing this process here, it's just going to release. And the more you can release, the more free you become, and the more of who you really are you become. So letting yourself just receive that beautiful life force energy. And just check in with yourself and notice how you feel. And then we're just going to just decide to ground your aura into that grounding cord. And if your grounding cord is really skinny, expand it out as almost at least as big as your hips. I'd suggest even bigger. And then just decide you're going to tuck your aura into that grounding cord. So that's going to help the aura release even more than it's already doing. And it's going to also define the edges of that aura a little bit more. Of course, it's energy and it's always changing, but grounding it just kind of defines the edges. And it just says, to everyone because everyone is psychic, this is my space, and, stay out. Another tool that I'm going to add today is a separation protection rose. And I always like to create that kind of like in front of my space on the outside edge of my aura. So just imagine a rose, whatever kind of rose you like. Or you might just say, create a rose and whatever shows up. And just admire and validate yourself that you can create so easily. Now, some people say they don't see the rose, but you might just feel it or perceive it or know it's there. It doesn't matter. You don't have to really see. And you're not going to see like a Technicolor movie anyway. Seeing clairvoyantly is it's more like when you have a memory in your mind, and you see everything in your mind's eye. We call it in our mind's eye. So that's the way you see clairvoyantly. So don't get hung up on it. Just create that rose, and then just let that stem of the rose extend all the way down into the center of the planet, just like you did that grounding cord. And that's going to ground that rose. And when energy comes from the outside, that rose, it's going to move around wherever it needs to move around the outside of your space. It's kind of like surveillance and security. And it's going to catch, like a little catcher's mitt. It's going to catch that energy. It's going to do its best to catch that energy before it finds its way into your space. Sometimes when people are upset with us, along with that anger comes like a little burst of energy. And anyway, so that's one of the things that rose is going to do. All righty. So I think that's all I'm going to add today. So I'm just going to talk you through a couple things here. And as I talk, you might notice that things are coming up for you, maybe thoughts, maybe feelings. You might feel sensations in your body. And I call that getting your pictures lit up. So we store things energetically in holographic images. And I like to say, because really this is the way I see it, that these little images, they're mental image pictures, but they're like little holograms. And if you remember in Star Trek, they would have a holodeck. They would walk into this holodeck, and they were walking into a hologram, and they would experience everything that would have been experienced in that location, but it was all a hologram. So these mental image pictures are very much like that. But along with, all of the senses and the images and everything seems real in 3D and so forth, along with that, oftentimes there's emotion, an emotional charge stored. This could be an emotional charge about something really scary or negative, or something we would term that we wouldn't want, that kind of emotion. Or it could be something really positive. When maybe you've had an experience where you went somewhere and it was like the best time ever. Oh, you just loved it. And then the next time you went, you were just anticipating this amazing time like you had before, and you might feel a little bit let down because it's a different experience. And oftentimes we get a little bit jaded. When it's new, it's different. Anyway, so that can hang us up too, because if we're always trying to recreate that wonderful experience from the past, we're not in present time. So anyway, so what this work does, and as we add some other tools and so forth, it helps you to de-energize those mental image pictures. So for now, we're just going to let those things go down the grounding cord, and Mother Earth is going to kind of de-energize those pictures for us and free up the energy so that we can have more of our own energy to create. Because the more of our energy we have, we're creative. Our energy is creative. So the more of our own energy we have in our space, the more effective we're going to be with our creations. Okay, so here we go. Say hello to the center of your head. Say hello to your grounding cord. And as you go through your day with this grounding cord in place, it's going to continue to work for you. It might slow down, so just put your attention on it and say hello, and it's going to kick in and start to release again for you. So again, just congratulate yourself, because you are part of the collective. And this main card that I pulled here, the World card, which is a major arcana card, and the major cards deal with big life issues. The other cards are more like our mundane life. They're not as significant. So I found it very interesting that this major card was the first. So again, this world card has to do with finishing a cycle, completing some lessons, So just kind of let anything come to mind for you personally and maybe for the world that might feel like it's you've learned things and you've completed lessons and you're ready to take that next step up in your life. So just breathe and let those things come to you. And if you know how to create and destroy roses, which I suppose I should have added here also, um, go ahead and create and destroy roses. So, okay, I'm going to share this with you today. So just like we created that protection separation rose on the outside edge of your aura, just create a rose. And as I'm talking and things come up, those mental image pictures are going to go out into that rose. And then you're just going to explode that rose in some way. Might, put a bomb under it. This is all just spiritual energy. We're not really doing any violence here. You might just imagine it as a balloon and pop it. You just want to completely annihilate it. So what this does is it just sends everything back to, primal energy. Okay. So what would you like to create in your life? What is your next step? What would you like to see in your life? What would you like to see in the world? So create a rose and just let anything that might get in the way of you creating what you would like in your life, you creating what you would like to see in the world. Just let any of those obstacles or anything that you might see as an obstacle go out into that rose. And again, remind yourself to breathe and explode that rose. And just create and destroy 2 or 3 more roses for that same energy. Any obstacles, anything that might get in the way of you creating the life that you would like. And no effort. This is in spirit, there's no effort. You don't have to try really hard to create that rose. You just say, create a rose. It's there. The energy goes to it. Explode it. Pop it. However you want to do it. Create a rose. Destroy it. Create. Destroy. Oftentimes we create, and we use up all of our creative energies because we don't want to destroy any of our creations. Think people that hoard everything we have, everything physical that we have, everything we create. Our energy is tied up a little bit in those creations. So clear out your closets. You might notice new things coming to you, new experiences and new things or whatever. Okay, so let's create a rose for any energy that says, I'm not psychic, I'm not clairvoyant, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this, I'm making this up, any of this stuff that invalidates us. We're all psychic. We all receive psychic information in one way or another, and most often in multiple ways. We're clairaudient. We might hear spirit. We're clairvoyant. We see spirit. We're clairsentience. We feel spirit. So we know knowing is a psychic ability. So just create and destroy a few roses that say, I can't do this. I don't know. I was thinking about an experience this morning. I was about 5 years old, and I had this little neighbor friend that I would go and visit. And when she lived next door, and I was over her house, and she said, and I loved Hawaii. Like I think I was born loving Hawaii. And she said, do you want to go to Hawaii? I'm like, yeah. And so we sit down in her yard. And I remember she had chives. We'd go and we'd like pick chives and eat chives. Anyway, she had me close my eyes. And then she basically was walking us through a visualization of imagining we were in Hawaii. And I remember as a little kid thinking, this is Hui. This is, I really wanted to go to Hawaii, but it took me a while to realize in retrospect, this little girl was one of my very first spiritual teachers. She was teaching me how powerful the imagination is, and that spirit can be anywhere, and the imagination is everything. anything we can imagine, we create. So I'll leave you with that thought. And before we finish up, because of course you've released more energy through that grounding cord, and you've created and destroyed roses, which also really accelerates the releasing process. And since we probably all remember that phrase from science in school, nature abhors a vacuum, we want to fill up our own space with our own energy. So go ahead and collect up that gold sun above your head and let it get really big. You might want to invite the energy of validation and amusement. I forgot to mention amusement. The more we can be in amusement as we're doing any spiritual work or anything in the world, creating, the faster and easier things will shift and change, because emotions are frequency. Amusement is a high vibration, seriousness and anger and worry and all those things are kind of down in the dumps. In fact, you might want to look at seriousness as just not too far above death. So you might not want to hang out there too often. And you might kind of find some amusement about how many times in our lives we've been taught to be serious, or how many times have we been told it's just our imagination. Our imagination is everything. So go ahead and bring in that gold sun, filling yourself up from head to toe. And remind yourself to breathe. Say hello to that center of your head space. Say hello to your body and thank it for being your best partner in this endeavor, this life here, this particular incarnation on Earth. Your body needs you and you need your body. So create that beautiful partnership, that beautiful communication. And I thank you so much for joining me here for this meditation in January 2025. And I hope you enjoyed learning these tools and taking a slow pace to walk through the tools. These tools truly changed my life back in the early 90s when I first learned them. So I hope that you find them as powerful as I have. I hope they transform your life as powerfully as they've transformed mine. And I wish you all the best in 2025. Take care.